Hi, so if you clicked on this video, you're probably thinking about homeschooling very seriously, but don't know where to start. I get it, it's a very complex step. Going to school is very simple. Up admission low and the school takes care of the rest, but here you have to do a lot of the heavy lifting on your own. I'll help you give your thoughts some structure. Please hit subscribe, save this video. You'll need to come back to this again and again as you make progress. Today, I am going to give you 7 simple steps to get you going. Before we start, I have a warning. If this video feels very simple, too simple, it's because homeschooling really should be simple. There is really no need to complicate something that just isn't complicated. And my background is in education system design. And over the years, I've worked with or studied many different education systems, including prominent boards, competitive exams, the edtech world, etc. And on that journey, I have met tons of homeschooling families, asked them about their process in great detail, and it's all because I am also considering homeschooling for my family. So being a systems thinker means I like to put things into a process. So this is my process that I'm following. Please feel free to follow it yourself. Here is all my learning rolled into 7 easy steps. Step 1, do your research and decide what works for your family. There are a lot of different philosophies of homeschooling, but personally, I didn't find any value in learning their specifics particularly. They're all very similar, and the difference lies in just 2 simple scales, okay? One is how much structure in the curriculum, and number 2 is how much structure in schedule. So what you need to do is decide with your partner and your family where you stand on these 2 scales. And the spectrum is also really straightforward. So let's just understand it. First, how much structure in the curriculum. So on the one hand, you can have a very tight curriculum, very specific targets. That's very similar to a school. So you can schedule tests, you can give exams and track progress using those, have a report card also. And then on the other end of the scale is unschooling, where there is absolutely no curriculum, no assessment, and the kids are totally free to create and follow their own curriculum based on their curiosity. And the second is how much structure in scheduling. So this is similar to the curriculum question. Some families like to have a very set daily schedule, they have a timetable, and then other families leave it entirely up to the kids. My philosophy is that if you want to homeschool, there is no point just replicating a school at home. So I lean towards a semi-structured curriculum. I think languages are the most important to empower kids because, if they're fluent and they love reading, they can teach themselves anything. So that is my main priority. And second is, I think the absolute basics of mathematics are very important, like reasoning, comparison, visualization for trigonometry, like basically shapes, how they work, and measurement. For academics, I would just do these 2 things, literacy and numeracy. The rest is up to the kids to explore, and then as they come up with things they are interested in, we can find and set up a curriculum for that as we go along. Of course, this is just the academic part. For the rest of the child's holistic development, there are a bunch of important things, right? Social skills, motor skills, emotional development. So all that should have some time in your schedule set out. Things like, visiting friends and family, lots of music, reading, watching and discussing movies, plays, lots of sports, lots of art. But for schedule, I feel like kids need to develop good habits. This is very personal to me. I just think that everything shouldn't be about moods and inner motivation. I think it's about teaching kids commitment and follow through. So my suggestion is sit with your child and discuss a schedule that works, but then stick to it. I highly recommend this book. It's called Grit, if you want to understand this thought process a little bit better. But essentially, step 1 is basically for you and your partner to get on the same page. None of these decisions, nahi schedule, nahi curriculum, these are not set in stone, but just have this discussion, aaram se. And if you need help giving this discussion some structure, you can download our planning worksheet for homeschooling families. We've made it ourselves, it really helps. There is one very important caveat. ये बहुत ज़रूरी है. This is the step where it's possible that after all your discussions, you decide not to homeschool. And that's absolutely fine. Homeschooling is not for everyone, and it's better that you know this early and focus on finding the right school for your child instead. Step 2, get familiar with the legalities and register if you need to. Now in India, homeschooling is legal and there is no body that you need to register with, but it's just important to understand there are different pathways available. So you don't have to officially register, but if you want them to take formal exams later on, you'll need to go through either the National Institute of Open Schooling or one of the other boards. Now, NIOS is a flexible board. It offers a very wide range of subjects, and it lets students take board exams at both class 10 and class 12 levels. So registering with NIOS is very easy. You just go and do it online. And idea is that this gives you the peace of mind that your child will be able to pursue higher education, go to good college when the time comes. So the NIOS certificate totally works. It makes you eligible for competitive exams also. So IIT, JEE, NEET, etc. So no problems there either. But NIOS is not the only option, of course. Like I said, you can also register as an independent candidate in any of the other boards. So just go and check out their website and you'll find a way to do that. Basically, आपको एक center मिल जाता है and you can just go there and give the exam. Again, very important caveat. Whichever board you choose, at some point, your curriculum and your schedule, which we've spoken about earlier, will have to include some time to prepare for these tests, right? So if you want to see how homeschoolers manage this and do creative things to ace their board exams, check out my interviews with the real homeschooling families. The link is in the description. Step 3, set up your curriculum or don't. So you understand your personalities now. You understand your family circumstances better. You figured out and chosen a board that you eventually want to get certified by. Now it's time to decide on your curriculum. See, one simple way is that you just pick up that board's recommended books. But again, if you ask me, you really, you don't get the full experience of flexibility and dynamism that is the best part of homeschooling. So what I suggest is doing a combination of books and resources. So pick up some stuff the board recommends and some stuff that you like and you find from other sources. So your aim overall should be to encourage your child's strengths and interests. So ask lots of questions and stay flexible as your child grows up and shows different inclinations or talents, right? But if you prefer a completely different freestyle method like unschooling, you can choose not to follow a strict curriculum at all. Like I mentioned, my plan is to have a loose core curriculum, maths and languages, but I want to leave plenty of room for exploration and creativity. But unschoolers think in a different way. They say it's all up to the kids. But as a general rule, for younger kids, just focus on fostering a love for reading, creative play and curiosity. And for older kids, just gradually introduce more structured topics like history or science or art. And honestly, this is a good time to look inwards. Ask yourself what you love, because maybe you're an MBA and you really enjoy entrepreneurship or business. Maybe your partner loves badminton or cooking or marketing or science. Whatever it is you love, share your passion with your child. Make some space for that in the curriculum you decide. They may not fall in love with your specific area of interest, but seeing your passion, it'll give them permission to have their own passion, right? And the courage and space to explore it themselves. And who knows, hopefully soon they'll start sharing their passion with you also. Step 4, set up a learning environment at home. See, you don't need a separate classroom in your house, but it helps to create a little space where your child can focus and learn comfortably. This could just be a small desk area or just a cozy corner where they can read, write, do projects, but just make sure that they have access to all the tools they need, whether it's art supplies, books, computer, whatever. For science, for example, you can get these lab kits, so there should be an area for that to live. If you work from home, that's really fun because you could set up a co-working space for you and your child to work together. You work, they study. And one thing I found very helpful is having a daily or a weekly rhythm. Basically, it doesn't have to be rigid, but a routine. It just keeps things organized. You might start the day with reading and then move to a creative project and then wrap up with some outdoor time, whatever works for your family. So the spaces for all of these things should be kind of demarcated and clear. And also, this is very important. Your child does not need to study only at home. This is a very common misconception कि हमारे घर में तो जगह ही नहीं है जी. See, you must find them other classes, coaching classes, or even just other places that they can go to study alongside other kids, like a local library or just a cafe. These are all fine too. They can go to their friend's house and work with them. These are all okay wherever learning is working, wherever it is progressing the fastest and with the most joy and happiness, go with that. Step 5, create a schedule that works for you. This is my favorite part of homeschooling, right? You're not stuck with a school schedule. You don't have to wake up at 6 a.m. and show up for assembly at 7:30. You can tailor the day to fit around your work commitments, family time, or your personality, your activities. And some parents find it really useful to block out like a few hours each day for focused learning, but others will, spread it out throughout the day in smaller chunks, whatever works. My only suggestion is that once you and your child have come up with a schedule, stick to it very closely. Because if you want to change it for some reason, that's okay. But it should be a discussion. You should discuss it in detail first and then come to this decision together, and then again, stick to the new one. You might have days where everything goes as planned, and other days where life happens and the schedule gets tossed out of the window. That's completely fine. One funny thing I heard that I should tell you about: homeschooling families can travel a lot more because they're not stuck waiting for school holidays to do so. And I heard if you travel off season, it's also cheaper. So, but whatever the schedule is, I would say write it down, print it out, put it somewhere in the house so that it's there for everyone to see and you can follow it easily. And also, please don't schedule the entire day and the week. Keep it simple, focused. 3-4 hours a day of structured time is good enough. Let the rest of the day just be free and easy. That's the joy of homeschooling. Step 6, join a homeschooling community. I can't emphasize enough how helpful it is to connect with other homeschooling families. There are tons of groups on social media. There are local communities in cities across India where parents, share resources, ideas. They organize group activities, field trips, they travel together. It's also a great way for your child to meet and socialize with other homeschooled kids. If you've seen my homeschooling roundtable videos, those families are already part of communities, so you can reach out to them directly if you're in Mumbai or surrounding areas. But if you can't find a community, which will happen, make one. And all that means is keep it simple. Just ask around, find a few families who are also homeschooling and make a WhatsApp group. The idea is to just have someone to talk to who gets it. It's infinitely helpful, and every single homeschooling family I spoke to said this is the one crucial thing that made it all feel much more doable. Step 7, keep track of progress. And now this is important because you don't want the pressure of grades. So in a homeschool setup, you get to decide how you want to assess your child's progress, right? I've spoken at length on this channel about how our culture of exams is really toxic and it's detrimental to learning. Homeschooling allows you to avoid all that. So instead of exams, try tracking progress in real terms. So if your child, for example, is playing sports, they're doing very well, you could enroll in real tournaments. Or if they're working on scientific or artistic projects, you can just keep a portfolio of their work and their milestones. It'll probably just look like a scrapbook of sorts, like a photo album of a beautiful journey that you can look back on together. But that's great because it gives you an anchor point. For more academic progress, you can always do periodic, self-tests or assessments. This has two benefits. I know it's unpopular in homeschooling, but it can be useful because it helps you identify learning gaps that you and your kids can then work on. But secondly, and most importantly, it introduces the kids to this test-taking culture, right? Eventually, they'll have to sit for some competitive exam or the other. So it helps them to know what that feels like, right? This becomes a problem for some homeschool kids later on. After years of this freedom and exploration, and when the kids are then finally asked to sit for these high-stakes exams, they become really anxious and they find it difficult to cope and do well. So some light assessments along the way can be good to keep that muscle working and help kids manage that stress also. And that's it. So if you want more information on any of these steps, let me know in the comments. I can share and find you some resources and links also. The main thing is to try and enjoy this process and be present with your child as they grow up. So I hope this helped a little bit. Please press the like button, subscribe to the channel, and check out the other deep dives into the world of homeschooling too. I hope they help. See you in the next video.